Hello everyone, it's Stephanie. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm back with another design team project for the Not Too Shabby shop. And you can see my coupon right there if you'd like to save 10%. I'll have the shop link below. Today I'm making a fun Christmas in July card. And I've been wanting to make this card since I received the stamp set. This is a few of the stamp sets I'm going to use, but I'm going to be making a scene card and kind of back to my original love, which is combining lots and lots of Lawn Fawn sets. As soon as I received the Butterfly Kisses stamp set, I wanted to make this card. I will stamp all the images out with a Copic friendly ink onto Neenah cardstock, and then I'll cut them out with the coordinating dies. I'll also cut out the window out of my card panel. I'm going to go ahead and start ink blending my card panel. I'm using some antique linen distress oxide ink, and I'm just using regular Neenah paper, and that's what I love distress oxides for, because I find even on Neenah paper the ink blends so smooth, especially with these blending brushes. I'm using the Tim Holtz stencil called Bricked, and I'm just going back over to make a darker shade over the lighter shade. And I love using this matte for distress ink blending. As I've mentioned before, it pretty much holds the paper down for me, so I don't have to touch it and get too messy. I'll use the recessed area of the mat to make sure my stencil stays properly aligned, and then I'll go around the edges with the darker shade of Gathered Twigs, just really lightly, just to add just a little bit more color. I'm lining up the card base to get my sentiment stamped, and I'm trying out these Sizzix sticky grid sheets. They have two sides that you can remove to have sticky on one side or the other, or both. And so now I've made it where both sides are sticky, so I can line it up stamp platform to get the sentiment stamped straight. And this worked well, but I'll be fine with magnets really. Now that I have the outside of the card finished, I'll go ahead and move on to creating the inside of my card. So I'm going to create a window. And then, of course, since I had the window cut, I decided to go ahead and make this into a shaker card as well. I used some pattern paper from the Nitpicky paper pad, and I'm attaching that to the inside of the card base after I had cut out the window with the same die. I'm just lining that up, and then I'm going to add some adhesive from my Tombow Extreme adhesive, and then I'm going to line up the inside card panel that is on the opposite side, where I'm going to build the scene. I'll fold my card base in half and use my bone folder to crease it. And then I'll turn it right side up and apply 2 layers of foam tape to the front of the card base, because I'm going to make the shaker pouch here. And I'll go along with my anti-static powder tool and use a microfiber cloth to make sure there's no extra baby powder. And then add my sequins. I use my bone folder to spread out all of my sequins and make sure they're kind of facing the right direction. And then I'll remove all the backing from the foam tape and add the front of my card panel. And then I'll move to the inside, where I will go ahead and die cut the curtains. I cut the window as well as these curtains out of it's an add-on set. It's the Shadow Box Card Theater add-on. That's a mouthful, but that's the name of the die, and this is what I actually purchased the die for, because I wanted to make this card. I actually don't have the Shadow Box die set, but I wanted the curtains and I wanted this window for this card that I had in mind to make. I made sure and cut 2 sets of the curtains, because I want the curtains to show from the outside of the window as well as the inside. So I cut 2 sets of the valance and the curtains, and then I'll just add some adhesive and attach those to the card, making sure to line them up where they can be seen from the front of the card as well. So now I'll begin coloring all these images with Copics. I've got 5 foxes die cut out because I wanted to be a family. I wanted to have a mom, a dad, and 3 children, because of course I have 3 children. Coloring all the foxes, I will use E19, E99, E97, R11, R22, and E50. I just start with the darkest shade and then use the medium and then the light, and then I go back and add a little more detail with the darker colors again. And I love to give a little detail and make it look a little bit like it has real fur, and this is the most fun part of coloring to me. And I'll start with the body and then move up to the head. And that way I can make sure that the paper stays saturated and I get a good blend. So I'll go ahead and do that with the top of the fox's head and ears as well. It was really quick and easy coloring, but I thought they turned out really cute. This set with the fox by Fawn is probably going to be one of my all-time favorites. And this is the actual, when I saw the set released, I think it was released back in the spring. This is what I couldn't wait to do with it. And so I waited till July. I did pretty good because I waited till July to make a Christmas card with it. But this is exactly what I wanted to do. As soon as I saw that little fox with his arms up, I wanted him to hold a little fox like it was his baby. So now I'm coloring the little baby fox, and I'm doing the same exact colors. I'm just being a little lighter with it. I'm being a little lighter with the colors. If you're curious what is in the background, I'm using a sheet of the Sizzix sticky grid sheets. I've just used my clipboard to hold it down, so I only have to use one side. The other side is sticky also if you remove the backing, and I did not remove that. So I can get multiple uses out of this, I'm hoping. These sticky grid sheets are new to me, and I've seen people use them inside of the stamp platforms. I tried that. I know a lot of people probably really like that, but I tried that, and honestly I probably won't use that again. I purchased them because I wanted to try having them hold my images that have already been stamped. Always have lots of pre-stamped and die cut images ready to color. I love using multiple stamp sets. So now I can stamp them, die cut them, build my scene, and then I can add them to this sheet. It holds them perfectly for me. And I've tried numerous different ways to find a way to hold all of my images. I've tried washi, of course. I've tried just adding a little bit of adhesive to each one, and I've tried Glad Press and Seal, and they all are kind of too much of a pain to make it worth the effort. These grid sheets work perfect. I am hoping to get multiple uses out of this. And if I can, it'll be a new must-have for me. Thankfully, they're inexpensive because the new Fawn release is coming, and that's going to be taking all of my money. So I really needed something that I can use over and over again that isn't very pricey. So funny story, I made this card quite a while ago. And when I made the card, I intended to have the family inside the house and a Santa in his sleigh with the reindeer on the outside of the card. It didn't work out because it didn't look right without a roof, but since I had made the Santa in this card, I thought I would share the footage of how you can make a Santa in case you wanted to. And I thought I would make a new version of Santa, not my old gnome Santa, a new one, using the new gnome, and did all the masking and put a new hat on him, all that. And then I saw the sneak peeks for the Fawn upcoming release for the fall and winter release, and saw that they are giving us our Fawn Santa finally, and I realized, oh good, I don't even need to put any of that footage in there because everyone's gonna be able to have a Fawn Santa soon. So if you saw that little, I showed it for just a minute. So I'm really glad that I procrastinate to edit this video, and I didn't waste a bunch of trying to edit that in and share something that would be useless to you guys, because now we're going to be getting a Fawn Santa. Now all we need is a baby Jesus. And who's excited about the Fawn release and the Fawn Santa and all the new Christmas stamps? I'm really excited, and I'd love to hear what you guys' favorite stamp sets coming out is. Mine is definitely the one with the Santa, and I also like the little mice. Those are cute too. So I can't wait to get those, and I've already placed my pre-order. So back to the card, I'm just continuing to color all these images, and I'm coloring the Christmas tree. I'm going along, and I added some G14 for my lightest shade, and G09 is my medium, and then G28 for my deepest shade. And I will go under every place where I think the shadows would be and add a layer of the darkest color, and then I'll go and use a flicking motion to kind of emulate some of the pine needles. And then I'll use the lightest shade to go blend it out again. Then I will be done with the Christmas tree, and I will go on to coloring the presents. And I don't always start with the lightest or start with the darkest. I pretty much do whatever's easiest. If I already have the lightest in my hand, I will start with that one. So I don't really have I know some people always start with light or always start with dark. I start with whatever's easiest. So now I'm going to go and color the rug. I'm using B26, B06, and B04. And I just go from darkest to lightest, and then I will go back and add more dark colors to give it more shading. And then I'm going to color with some grays. I'm using N2, N4, and N6 to color the inside of the fireplace right behind the fire. And I try to just give it some shadows, but really just kept it simple. So now I moved on to coloring the Dear Santa note, and I'm using some E40s you can see on the screen. And then I will go ahead and color the tree trunk as well as the log inside the fireplace. I wanted to make those brown, and so I'm using some E colors. And for the fireplace, I started off coloring with E97, and then I added E99 to get it a little darker. I'm also using R02, YR00, and YR65. I do go in and add another color pretty soon because I realized after when I was coloring this, it looked a little, I wanted to make it that brick color, but it looked a little too similar to the fox. So I go in and add some red. So I added some R24 to give it a little more red, and then I like that much better. So I didn't want it to be the same color as the foxes. Once I blended that out, I liked the way that looked. And just a tiny bit of shading on the mantle. So now I can pull my images off the sheet and they'll be ready to build my scene. So I started off coloring with Copic markers just to add a little bit of a difference so you could see the difference between the floor and the wall. I don't know if I really needed to do that, but I didn't want everything looking like it was floating in the air. So I'll attach the Christmas tree with some foam tape, and then I just used some adhesive to attach to the fireplace. I'll cut a little slit in the fox's arms, cut away some of this white space between the baby fox's arm and the tail so that the dad can hold the little baby up in the air to hang up the ornament. And I'll start using my tweezers to adhere all of the colored images. I wanted to add these little ornaments and have the little kids holding the ornaments like they're helping decorate the tree. I did do a little bit of cutting to the mom to hold the lights, and I'm trying to line these up so it looks like the mom is chasing after her little toddler who's causing mayhem with the lights and getting the lights all tangled. I'll add the string of lights and I'll bend it in the center so that we'll be able to fold and close and open again. Next, I just need to attach the little plate of cookies and milk and note for Santa, as well as a candy cane onto the mantle. That completes my card today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.